This episode of Storytellers is brought to you by these fine companies.
Hi, I'm Dale Pulde, the War Eagle. You're watching Storytellers at Competition Plus TV. We were one of the first guys out there with an 18-wheeler, and we kept them fresh and pretty good shape and all stuff, and they ran pretty darn good. And we were leaving in '85, going through Texas, and Mark Oswald with the Candies and Hughes truck, he was running along with us and stuff. And we climbed a couple of hills and been up for a while and stuff. So for some reason I pulled over, I can't remember what it was, at a rest area, and took off to leave the rest area, and the truck acted a little bit funny. So I went to hit the next hill, and all of a sudden the truck didn't want to go up the next hill, and the clutch was going out in it. So I found a good flat spot and kind of pulled over the side, and we were in Big Spring, Texas, I believe is what it was. And we pulled over, and there was a nice little apron on the side and all the junk. And so I told Mike Hamby, my partner, I says, the clutch is gone out in the truck. And he didn't want to hear that. Got the crew, told him, hey, the clutch has gone out in the truck. And they were kind of relieved they wouldn't have to ride for a while and stuff. And so they thought we were going to take it to get it towed into a truck dealer or something like that and get it repaired. I said, oh no, I've got a spare clutch. Brand new spare clutch. And everybody kind of looked at me and said, you got to be kidding. So the two crew guys was Randy Green and the famous Mike Klober. So we're over in a spot, and all we had was the floor jack we used on the race car and a big block of wood. So we started getting things all apart and all the junk, and got it out, got the clutch back in. I had my hand up inside the bell housing trying to line everything up. But in the meantime, it started out to be four of us, ended up to be three of us underneath the truck. I said, man, we're kind of having a hard time here. Oh, where's Hamby? Where's he at? And wouldn't you know it, we have all the T-shirts and all the stuff mounted on the door of the truck, which you had to open to get in to get your tools and everything out. People were stopping off the highway there on the interstate, coming out, Mike's in the doorway selling T-shirts. And we're under there pushing that transmission all around, and but I guess the T-shirts were more important than we were at the time. But so, as it was a couple of years earlier, we were at Pat Dakin's place, and I told Mike, I said, we probably ought to look at the engine on this truck. I says, we've been running hard for a couple of years, and we really haven't done anything to it, and it's kind of, other than hop it up a little bit. And so I laid out underneath the truck at Pat Dakin's place, pulled the pan off it, and threw some bearings in the truck, and it all seemed to look pretty darn good. So we're leave Dakin's, and we're heading to Bristol, Tennessee, going up Highway 75. We get into Kentucky. We're cruising along, running about 70 or 80, which is about what we always ran. And all of a sudden, boom, big bang in the hood and all this stuff, and I shut the truck right off. We idled it around, got it in behind a Holiday Inn, got it situated, got our room, got all the stuff, went out that night and turned on the air compressor and the lights in the trailer and crawled underneath the truck, pulled the pan off it. Okay, I see, you can look underneath and see the one piston was hurt in it, nothing major. So we got up the next morning, went to the international dealer, which carried a lot of Cummins parts, and figured, well, what the heck, we got one head off, might as well pull the other two. So we pulled the other two, and sure, we had some cracked pistons. So we go on to the international dealer, carried all the Cummins parts, and talking to the guy in the parts dealer there, and I says, hey, you got a mechanic here or somebody we can rent a torque wrench or buy a big torque wrench from, or not borrow, actually not buy, but borrow a good-sized torque wrench. And he said, well, where are you doing it at? And I says, over at the Holiday Inn, the parking lot. And he says, and you hurt a piston? You burned a piston? I said, yeah. So he calls a mechanic in there. Mechanic says, well, I'll blow into my torque wrench or whatever, as long as I know where you guys are at and everything, and I'll come over lunchtime and see what's going on. He says, you probably need it for a couple of days. I said, no, we'll have it done about 5 or 6 this evening. He says, man, you can't do that with them motors. He says, I'll run aluminum all through it. You got to pull the oil cooler off it. You got to do this. You got to do that. And about the time old Homer quit talking about it and everything, I says, I burned a lot of pistons. I says, and there's nothing in the oil pan of this thing. I said, it's going to go right down the road at 5 o'clock tonight. He says, well, I got to see this. Plus, I'll pick up my torque wrench when I go there. Says, I don't think you guys know what you're doing, but I got to see it. So, okay, so he come over at 5 o'clock in the evening. We had that thing sitting there running, loading up our packages, all of our suitcases, and getting back in to go down the road. And the guy came to race us a couple of times after that. We'd see him once in a while, and he still kept talking about it, but it was still on the road.